Beltway, joined now by United States Senator Tom Cotton. Good morning, Senator.
Hey, Hugh. It's good to be on with you, and happy belated Veterans Day to you and the extended Hewitt family. I know y'all have a long record of military service that goes on to this day. So the Hewitt family, like so many families, military service is kind of a family business.
It is. It's not my family. It's the fetching Mrs. Hewitt's family. I'm just a civilian. But, yeah, up and down we do, and I'm glad I celebrated it yesterday and just talked with Ryan Mannion in the last segment. And I'm glad you're on and remind people of that. Senator.
Yeah, and I did. Well, before we go on, I'd just say, the Semper Fi Fund show is always a highlight of mine. I'd encourage everyone to support that great organization. And November 11th may be Veterans Day, but November 12th is always a great day to remember that we should honor our veterans every day.
Absolutely. Now, let me tell you about November 12th as well, that we've got a big Supreme Court case today to be argued about the Dreamer program. It's an executive order program. That which is created by executive order can be withdrawn by executive order. I don't think this is a close case. Do you, Senator Cotton?
Well, it ought not be, Hugh. As you said, Barack Obama simply created the Deferred Action Program for these young illegal immigrants by executive order. But you have a lot of resistance judges in places like California and D.C. who have simply adopt the rule that which Barack Obama hath done, let Donald Trump never undo. But in the realm of real law, without resistance judges carving out special Trump exceptions to longstanding precedent, obviously one executive order can be undone by the next. This is not to say anything about the policy of the Deferred Action Program, Hugh. I supported legislation. In fact, I sponsored the president's own legislation last year that in return for assurances about building the wall and ending chain migration would have given legal status to many of these young illegal immigrants who came here as young children. So this is not about the policy. This is about the constitutionality of the president's actions. And I just see how the Supreme Court could rule otherwise.
I don't either, and I think it would be useful and good for the country if they did it in about a day. There are history books that are full of cases where the court moves expeditiously. This is one to lay down that rule. That which is done by executive order can be undone by executive order. Now, Senator, you and I often talk about China. Since we last spoke, the Vice President of the United States, the Secretary of State of the United States, the National Security Advisor to the President of the United States all gave speeches about the People's Republic of China. They all were exceptionally tough. Your friend Mike Pompeo is joining me tomorrow to talk about his. Are we at a turning point?
Hugh, I believe that one of the lasting legacies of Donald Trump's foreign policy will be to reorient our China policy away from engagement, accommodation, even appeasement that it's been for the last 25 to 30 years. Now, Henry Kissinger has said that the true test of the foreign policy is whether it has bipartisan durability over the ages. That's one example, for instance, of why the Cold War policy of containment and ultimately victory under Reagan was so strong, as it started with Truman, but it continued under Eisenhower and presidents of both parties. Our bipartisan policy of accommodation and appeasement over the last 30 years has obviously failed, but the president has laid the groundwork, I believe, for a new generation of a policy that recognized China as the military, the economic, the diplomatic and political threat that it is.
Now, Senator, I had dinner last night with one of the leading educators in the United States. I mean, he is terrific. Eric leads a bunch of private public charter schools, and they emphasize Western civilization, and it's a wonderful organization. He doesn't think they need to offer Mandarin. And I said, you can't defend the West unless you understand the people who might threaten the West. I don't think we have to have a war with the People's Republic of China, but I think we have to educate students the way we used to educate them about the Soviet Union. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree, Hugh. It is always important to understand the civilization, the culture, the history, the strategy, the outlook of other peoples around the world, especially our main adversaries, just like we had a generation of great Soviet scholars. Throughout the Cold War, one would hope that we have a generation of great sinologists as well who helped policymakers and the American people understand exactly the Chinese mindset so we can protect American interests against that mindset.
Now, understanding that mindset, I think, means learning Mandarin. Now, I'm doing my best to backfill by reading Michael Pillsbury and Graham Allison, rereading Dr. Kissinger. I'm not going to go off and learn Mandarin, but it would certainly help if our schools got serious about this.
Well, Hugh, I'm sadly monolinguistic, and some of my critics might say I don't even master one language. But,
well, you're from Arkansas, so you have two.
Mandarin learning Mandarin, certainly it's a hard thing, but it's a very valuable tool. It's just like learning Arabic if you're thinking about the kind of the threats that the world faces. So, it's a great thing that we have educators out there who are trying to encourage students to learn more foreign language. I regret that I'm monolinguistic. I wish I had mastered languages. I tried. I had great teachers, but it just didn't take in my mind. But it is an important part of understanding a different civilization, a different culture, to be able to read and to think in the language of that culture.
30 seconds, Senator. Is the president getting soft on Huawei, or is he still listening to you?
I believe the president recognizes that Huawei and other Chinese telecom companies pose a real and genuine threat to our security, to our privacy in their internet backbone business. Put aside their handset business where they sell cheap smartphones around the world, but letting Huawei build the next generation of telecom networks would be very dangerous for our privacy and security.
Senator Tom Cotton, always a pleasure. Happy Veterans Day and the day after Veterans Day. I appreciate your service as well, walking point in Iraq during the surge. Don't go anywhere, America. Hour number 3 of the Hugh Hewitt Show coming right up. I start with Matthew Elliott from Brexit Central. Don't go anywhere.